Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Keith Schue. I live in Cherry Valley, New York. I'm an engineer with experience in distributed technology, reliability, and failure rates. I also worked 5 years for the Nature Conservancy, focusing on water issues and habitat fragmentation caused by infrastructure. I'm a solutions-oriented person, not someone accustomed to speaking in terms of absolutes. However, today I am speaking in support of a ban on the widespread use of hydrofracking because of, one, the technology itself, what we know and what we don't know. Two, the entirely flawed regulatory framework that has been proposed. And three, because far better alternatives exist for a long-term sustainable future. I had other comments I was going to make, but I want to address something that relates to my area of expertise, and that is forest habitat. A few years ago, the Nature Conservancy took upon itself to identify critical forest focus areas. And some of this information appears in the S-Guys, but I would say to you that that information has been grossly misinterpreted. The intent was to identify forest blocks with optimal habitat conditions, the goal being to provide connectivity between those optimal forest areas to ensure the long-term sustainability of ecosystems and wildlife populations. And that connectivity would be happening through other forest lands. It did not mean that the forest focus areas that were identified were the only forests in New York worthy of protection. There's an important statistic, and that is that 57% of the Marcellus Shale is forested today. However, only 6% of that lies within these optimal forest blocks, these forest focus areas. The S-Guys has incorrectly concluded that it is only that 6% that deserves some type of special attention. So you can visualize a massive scarification of the landscape with pipelines, with gas wells, with infrastructure, destroying the ecological integrity of an entire region. You might assume that within at least that small 6%, that DEC would say, well, okay, drilling is off limits in those areas. It does not say that either. Actually, DEC does not propose to restrict drilling in those places, only requiring some monitoring of impacts, if you will, and of course that monitoring would be happening by the industry. So finally, a reason I would say we do not need hydrofracking in New York State this decade, or any other decade, is because we do have better choices for a more sustainable economy. Already strides are being made upstate in wind, in wineries, and organic farming, in a sustainable tourism industry based on the intrinsic natural beauty of New York. These emerging benefits will be lost if the proliferation of gas drilling transforms upstate New York into an industrial area. When I said I worked for the Nature Conservancy, that was in Florida. I recently relocated to New York. And I can tell you that Florida, unfortunately, is a state that's being systematically destroyed by unsustainable development. Sadly, most of the people who live or visit there have no knowledge of its beautiful rivers, its springs, or its biodiversity, instead because they're more interested in Disney World. But the people who visit upstate New York actually are aware of this state's scenic beauty, its amazing natural areas, and its rich rural heritage. That is why they come and why some, like myself, have chosen to make this place their home. We ask that you do not throw that away. Thank you.